Hi everyone, this is Gail. I'm trying a different light setup today because I need my glasses. I'm going to do a little chit chat and just answer some questions, tell you a little bit about what's going on in my life, and nothing bad. And I just thought it's such a dark, dreary day. It's a rainy day here in Virginia, and it's not much light in this room, so I turned off the light that's over my work surface, which is what glares in my glasses. And I have a list here of all the questions that everybody has asked recently. And the only way I could think to keep the, to be able to read the questions was to keep my glasses on. And when I have the other light on, it hits right across here and all you see is glare. So I'm trying this. Hopefully you can see me okay. There's just a few things going on right now. I mentioned before that I was going to be doing a huge destash, and someone did ask me what I was planning on getting rid of, and they were some pretty high dollar items and also heavy items. And one person came in and bought everything before I could even get it posted. It was just crazy, but I mean, it was like over $400 that I made on these items because, like I said, they were high dollar items, and that allowed me to buy the supplies that I need for my Fun Stampers Journey business. And I was just thrilled, so sorry you didn't get a chance at anything, but chances are you wouldn't have been able to spend the kind of money that this person spent. And you know who you are. You're probably watching this video. I thank you so much. And if you have any issues with any of the products, just let me know, and I will try to do my best to get it rectified. But anyway, the rest of my destash, which I do have a bunch of things I need to destash, but I just haven't had time. I have been so busy, and it's a good kind of busy, but I've just been so busy, and I've just decided rather than put stress on myself right now to try to get this destash done, probably nobody wants to spend any money on themselves right now anyway, so I'm going to wait until after the holidays, maybe in January. I will do more destashing, and then that's something I won't have to think about. Another thing, you know that I was a guest designer for Tupelo Designs, and some of you that have watched all of my videos may have seen that Tupelo has, when I started with my Fun Stampers Journey, I felt like I needed to tell them that I was working with a scrapbooking company, which was a direct competitor to them because the majority of what they sell, even though they have lots of craft supplies, the largest majority of what they have are stamps and dies and things, papers, excuse me, that go with scrapbooking. So I was going to be in direct competition because I felt like I need to build my Fun Stampers Journey business, and I will tell you about that later. I'm just so amazed with this company. But anyway, I talked to them about it. I said, now, if you would like me to stay, because, even with Tupelo Designs, I would do like 2 or 3 polymer clay tutorials. Then I would do a paper tutorial of some kind because the allowance that they give me every month, I was getting a lot of paper supplies from them, and I felt like I needed to do something to boost their paper business. So I told them, that I understood if they wanted me to drop out as a designer. No hard feelings. I understood exactly where they were coming from. Excuse me if I'm weaving back and forth. I'm looking at the window on my camera, and it looks like I'm crooked, but I don't want to mess things up right now in the middle of my video. So anyway, I'm just trying to get straight. And of course, everything's backwards. What I see is backwards from what is showing up on the screen. So it's just really nuts. But anyway, Tupelo was very kind to me and really wanted me to stay on. And instead of calling me a design team member, they've given me the title of a design team polymer clay expert. Even though I don't feel like I'm an expert, I've learned a lot through the years, but I don't consider myself an expert. But so they've asked me to stay on, but I get an allowance every month to get products. Last month, all I got was polymer clay, so I am stocked up on my clay. Now, if I just had time to work with some and use it up. But, so that's been good, that they want me to stay. So, for right now, there are, especially with the holidays coming and so much going on, I may just get the Monday videos up for polymer clay. If I have time to do another one during the week, I will. But like this week is totally slammed. But today is the only day I don't have don't have some place to go. I do have to go to the barn. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but my daughter has a horse, and she keeps her massage therapy now just 2 nights a week, because her massage therapy money that she makes there pays for her horse. So I go to the barn on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons and clean horse stalls. But anyways, today is the only day this week I don't have something to do. Tomorrow I'm really excited. My church has a group that they call the Travelers, and it's mostly senior citizens, but there are a few other people that go. And tomorrow we are going to Washington, D.C. and tour the White House and see the White House at Christmas. So I'm really excited about that. Even though I have to be at church at 5:30 in the morning. Being retired, I don't do 5:30 well anymore. So anyway, I'm sure I can suffer for, I'll be so excited, I'll be wide awake. It's no problem. And I've had dog issues, but there's just a lot going on. In the clay world, you saw that I was starting to make turtles for the Turtle Hospital. And I think I mentioned that there was an artist in the beach resort town where I go a couple of times a year with my sister that wanted me to make turtles for her gallery. And she has placed an order for 75 turtles. And she would like them to have magnets on the back. She said magnets sell really well in her shop. So I have a lot of turtles to make before June. So hopefully I can get that done after the holidays. Again, everything's after the holidays because I'm so busy right now. So that's good because she wants 75 and she's going to buy them outright from me. I just need to come up with a price. I have no idea what to charge for these little turtles. I thought I had some out that I could show you. Well, I do, but they're under some other things. I've made some really cute turtles, and I'm using some of the canes that I made, and they're really turning out cute. So if you get a chance to look at my turtle video, you'll see some of them that I'm making. Let's see, the video, the Destash. My Etsy shop. It's funny when I talk about needing support and help to get, so I can afford to feed my clay addiction. It's amazing the number of people that come to me and say, well, you should put your things in an Etsy shop. When I put my Etsy shop link under every video that I make, and I have had the Etsy shop out there, and I've had a few sales, but not many. I feel like there's just too many people on Etsy and you get lost. So as my items expire, I'm not renewing them. So but in the next month or so, my Etsy shop will be closed. I'm paying, every month for something that I'm not making any money on. So that was kind of silly. So I'm going to close my Etsy shop. But if you would be interested in buying any of my items, just let me know. Maybe I will do a Facebook page and list the things that I have available on a Facebook page. Something like that. But anyway, that's, again, something that's going to have to wait a while. Let me look through here real quick. and see if there's anything else. I just made a list of all the things that I've seen asked before. And, oh, the Patreon videos. And again, patrons, I apologize again. I know you keep saying don't apologize. That's not why you're helping me out. But I really intend to do some Patreon exclusive videos. And I've also decided that after 3 months after I do the videos, I'm going to offer them on my Facebook channel as a paid video. So if anyone wants to pay to see the tutorial, then they can. And so I just want my patrons to know that that's what my plan is to do. And so, you know, I don't know, they may cost more than what you're contributing. Haven't figured that part out yet. Again, that's going to be after the first of the year. But I need to apologize that I haven't been doing any new videos. It's December and I just don't have time to do the video. So I will make it up. I will, you know, when things ease up, I might get 2 in a month. And as long as you're my patrons, I will, you know, send you the links to those videos. They're private, and the only ones that have access to them are the people that contribute $10 to me a month on my Patreon account. So if you would like access to these videos, and I think they've enjoyed them so far. I think I have done a monarch butterfly cane. I did a tiger pendant, which looks like tiger skin. That was kind of neat. What else have I done? I don't know. I can't even think right now. But these, you know, are just videos that I just have done out of appreciation because of the support that these people are sending me. And it means so much to me. You'll never know how much it means, because it is enabling me to do better, you know, to do this work and not have to find a job for Christmas. So that helps a lot. So I did want to, you know, tell you that. Couple of more comments I want to make. I'm still struggling with the criticism that I get on some of my videos, and I'm sure that a lot of it is not meant as criticism. But when I have a design, it's my design, and I design it the way I want to design it. And then someone comes in and says, well, it would be better if you do it this way. Well, maybe it would. Maybe it would be better, but that's not the way I designed it. So, you know, I appreciate your comments, and I don't want you to stop making comments. But, you know, just understand that I am an artist, and what I am creating my way. And if you want to create something your way, fine. I don't have a problem with it, and I'd love to see it. You know, so just be a little more careful in your comments. Everybody's been very kind when I mentioned that. I've had a couple people, what was it? One of them said, you know, could you just speed it up a little bit so your videos aren't so long? And long was like 10 L's and 10 O's and 10 N's and 10 G's and then a bunch of exclamation points. You know, well, sorry. Again, that's the way I choose to do my videos. I started doing videos because I couldn't find many real-time videos. I'm always looking for ideas and new things to do, and I was on YouTube, and everything that I would find either was chopped up and you only saw certain parts, or it was in fast forward mode, and I would see something that they used that was in a bottle, but it was so fast I couldn't tell what was in the bottle, and there was no explanation as to what it was. So, you know, thanks to Sarah, at Mike Serenity Crafts, because she's the one that I started watching that was doing real-time polymer clay videos, and she does other things other than polymer clay, and but she's the one that really motivated me and inspired me to do that. And then she started telling me, when I started helping her with her polymer clay issues, she would say, you need to do videos, you need to do tutorials, you know so much. So it's all Sarah's fault. So thank you, Sarah. But I've made so many friends. Some of you guys that, we've talked back and forth by either comments on these videos or on my Facebook page. Y'all are just awesome. I feel like I have made some of the best friends in the world. And some of you have done some very generous things for me, and you're just so special. So thanks again. I know I keep saying thank you, thank you, thank you, but I'm just so grateful. So now I think I have covered just about everything that I had to say. So let me get to a couple of your questions. I've had people that have asked me, and I understand your situation because I'm right there with you. They say that they're financially strapped right now. And do I know of any polymer clay companies or websites or anything that would give sample clay? And I'm afraid I don't. Unfortunately, Polyform will donate to a group. They donated to me when they found out that I was, wanting to do a giveaway on this channel. And they were very kind to me, but they don't do that for individuals usually. Usually it's for a guild or for a workshop or something like that. And, they're very generous, but they're a business and they can't, give clay to everybody or they'd go out of business. So I really don't know of any place that gives samples or free clay. The only suggestion I can make is I shop mainly at Sunny Day Crafts. I buy a lot of my clay in either 8-ounce or 1-pound blocks. The colors that I use a lot of, white, black, ecru, colors like that, I get the 1-pound blocks, and I get them at sunnydaycrafts.com. And I will put that link below in the description. They are the cheapest. Their regular price for Primo clay is $1.49 a block, and that's even better than, if you go to Michael's, it's like the ones that still carry clay. So many of the Michael's have discontinued carrying anything other than Sculpey 3 and their, was it Craft Smart clay, which I'm sorry Michael's, but it's crap. It's terrible. I bought some just giving them the benefit of the doubt, and it's horrible clay. I don't even know if I would use it for children. It's just bad. But maybe some of you have had better luck with it, but I bought some black and white one time because I was desperate and didn't have time to wait for an order. Even though Sunny Day Crafts, I have ordered one day and I have gotten it in the mail the next day. Because if you order it early enough in the day, they send it by FedEx overnight. And shipping is very reasonable. I think it's, I'm not sure what their dollar cutoff is, but it's like the minimum is like $6 or $6.95, something like that. But they ship it FedEx and it's there very quickly. I've even ordered it in the summertime and it got here so quickly that the heat never bothered it. The clay is always fresh. I never have any I've never gotten a bad block of clay from them, and their customer service is awesome. I got a wrong color one time. I'd ordered a bunch of clay, and one of the blocks, I ended up with a Sculpey 3 instead of a Primo, and I let them know, and the next day I had my Primo. They're very good at solving issues. So that's the only suggestion I have for those on a tight budget, because believe me, I have shopped around for clay, and Sunny Day Crafts is the best price on the market. So let's see, the next one, this was more, I guess this is more of a project. Someone wanted to know how to make mushroom pendants, and that might be something I'll do in the future. I'm not doing it right now just because of time issues, but as my time allows, I will do some mushroom pendants. And then what else can I make besides pendants, charms, and beads? With polymer clay, I'm sorry, my phone is ringing and it's distracting me. The ideas are endless. You can make yard stakes. You can put make vegetable stakes. Make your cute little cucumbers and beans and everything, and mark your garden with it because the colors don't fade in the weather. You can make bowls. You can cover the stems of glasses. You can cover pens, writing pens. You can make pill boxes. You can cover a wooden box with tiles, or you can cover it with solid clay. There's just so many things that you can do with polymer clay, because I'm not a jewelry person. And I don't, I really struggled with polymer clay at the beginning because all the people that I knew that worked with polymer clay made jewelry, and I just didn't want to make jewelry. So, I've made fairy houses. I've made, oh goodness, I'm just trying to think of some of the things I've made and given away. I've covered the stainless steel water bottles that you get, the sports bottles. A lot of them have the plastic part, the rim at the top, that will screw off. And if you can take the plastic off, you can cover the stainless steel part and bake it in the oven, and then put the plastic rim back on, or the plastic handle, whatever it is that you've got. And I've done those as not as giveaways, but as donations to the Greyhound Rescue Group in Florida that I used to volunteer with, so that they could sell them at their silent auctions. They always sold well. I've done pictures. I've done a couple of what I would call polymer clay paintings. One of them is very abstract. It's a dog. It's a greyhound face, and it's just got different colors of clay. It is an abstract, but I enjoyed making it. And then I adapted it to a white greyhound, and it's my avatar on a lot of my different sites because it's in memory of a greyhound that I had and absolutely loved and lost way too soon. And it's his angel picture. He's got a little halo, but it's his face, but he was white with a little bit of a black trim. So, his picture's on my credit card. Well, it's on my debit card, not my credit card. On my debit card, and I entered the picture itself is an 8x10, and I entered it into the State Fair of Virginia a couple years ago and won a blue ribbon with it. So, there's just a lot you can do with polymer clay. You're only limited by your imagination. But while we're on the subject of making things with polymer clay, another person asked me after I did my swirl bowl if you could use the bowl to put food in. And polymer clay is not toxic, but it is also not food safe. There's a lot of items out here that are, fine to have around the house, but you don't want to put your food on it. And polymer clay is one of those. Now, if you can cover a cup, like if you had a coffee cup, but I would leave the rim, like maybe at least a ½ inch, if not more than that, of the ceramic or glass or whatever you're covering. I would leave that uncovered for where your mouth goes. It's just a matter of things that are food safe and things that are not food safe. And, I would not ever put anything in polymer clay that I would be eating. Now, if you made a little bowl that you wanted to put nuts or mints, put a little doily in there, or put a decorative napkin. Put something inside that will just separate the food from the bowl, and that'll be fine. But I wouldn't have anything directly in contact with it because, polymer clay is a chemical compound. It is not a natural element, and you don't know what the long-term effects might be. Like I said, they say it's not toxic, and I do believe it's not toxic because I've used it for 15 years and it hasn't killed me yet. But, just be careful with what you put your food in. Now, you can use it for like flower pots, but if you use it as a flower pot, I would definitely make sure there's a hole in the bottom for water to drain out of, because you don't want water sitting in it. Not that it would damage the clay, but it would kill your plant if you don't have good drainage. So, that's something else you can do, but there's just a lot of things that you can do with polymer clay. one of the suggestions is somebody said they would like to see a video on how to sharpen straight blades. Now, I have sharpened a few blades in my time, and it has worked. I've used knife sharpeners, I've used sandpaper, and I just find that I'm just as happy just getting a new blade. I have some very, very sharp blades that I only use when I need a very, very sharp blade. And I use those if I'm doing some intricate slicing and need it to be very, excuse me for jumping around. This chair is not very comfortable today for some reason. And, like the last time, and I've shown you, this was the last blade that I pulled out as a sharp blade. And I've used it so much now, it's still pretty good and sharp, but it's not going to cut me. If I touch it like this, it's not going to cut me. So this is, I consider, a duller blade. And I keep these blades, and those are the ones I use most of the time. If I need to slice something really thin, I use my Lucy slicer. If I need to slice something thin and it's not a good item for the Lucy slicer, I pull out my sharp blade, I slice what I need, I wipe it off, and then I put it away again. I have some actual tissue blades, hospital grade tissue blades, and they stay in a wax paper little pouch. And, I don't know that I've used it more than 3 or 4 times, but it's still very, very sharp, and I keep it separate. The everyday blades that I use, these blades, like this one and the one I showed you, these are not sharp at all, but they're sharp enough to cut clay as long as you're not looking for something very precise and really, really thin. So I may do a video somewhere down the line on sharpening blades, but it's not something I do on a regular basis, so it may not work that well. Excuse me. Someone asked me about my mosaic tiles, the polymer clay tiles, about what setting they're rolled out to. When I make polymer clay tiles, I usually roll them out to the thickest setting on my pasta machine. And the reason I do that is because some of the things that I embed in the clay, like if it's a button, I will cut the shank off the back of a button, but I leave little prongs so that the prongs can be pressed into the clay. And I don't want the prongs to go all the way through. So I know if I do it at the thickest setting on the pasta machine, I've got a little bit of room that I can press things into the clay and not have to worry about it going all the way through. So I always use the number 1 setting. That's just, but you can do it depends on what you're going to be doing with the tiles. I embed a lot of things in my tiles, so that's why I make mine thicker. If you don't embed anything, if all you're doing is designs or textures or stamping words or whatever, you can go a little bit thinner. It doesn't really matter, how it just depends. It's a personal taste thing, so you just do whatever it is that you like. Releasing clay from glass. When I did my bowl, you saw that I had a little bit of trouble getting it off of the glass votive that I had, and that was because of my impatience. Normally, I wait for when something comes out of the oven, if it's attached to glass, I wait for it to cool completely. But it was evening, and I wanted to get that bowl tutorial uploaded on YouTube because it is not a quick thing to do sometimes with YouTube. So I wanted to get it done. So when I was trying to take the bowl off of the votive, it was still very soft because it was still pretty warm. And when it's soft, it moves too much. And so I probably should have waited for it to cool. I've never had a problem releasing things from glass when it's totally cool because the clay has firmed up as it cools off and I can pull more. But on that bowl, especially with the seams between each color, I just didn't want to pull too much, and that's why I use my blade, which I should never have done. I don't even know why I did that. I knew as I was doing it that it wasn't a good idea, but I was impatient. I did it anyway. But if you saw, well, watch the end of the video, I took a picture of it after I applied some liquid Kato to it, and the marks went away. So the bowl is safe. There's no marks on it. So anyway, the removing clay from glass, the only problem that you would have removing clay from glass is if there's any kind of texture on the glass, or if the shape of the glass is not smooth. Like, well, let me see. This votive is still sitting here, as a matter of fact. If you look at this, the bottom part of this is narrower than through here. So if my bowl had come all the way around, say, to here, and then I tried to take it off, it wouldn't come off, because you're not going to be able to stretch that clay from this narrow size up over the big size. So as long as you stay from the thickest area on up on whatever you're using as a mold for your bowl, not bow, it comes off fine. You can, like I say, you just loosen it around the sides. Usually you can give it a little twist and it just comes right off. But because mine was warm and still soft, I couldn't do that, and that's why I messed up. So, just wait for it to cool completely, and you shouldn't have any trouble getting your clay off of your glass. Someone else said they had prepared something and they hadn't baked it, and it's been a couple of weeks. Is it still safe to be baked, or do I have to start over again? I have had things sit for 2 or 3 weeks, especially my tiles. When I did my tiles, I didn't want to put just a few in the oven, so I would put them on a ceramic tile and set them aside until I had enough. And if I got sidetracked and was doing other projects, it might be 2 weeks before I did any more tiles, and they've all come through fine. I think the concern was that I've mentioned that when you've conditioned clay and then you let it sit for a while, sometimes it needs to be reconditioned. And it depends on how long it sits. It depends on the type of clay. A lot of times when I say conditioned, it means mainly just to soften it up a little bit. If I've had some clay that's conditioned and I've let it sit for about a month and I go to use it, I just want to soften it up a little bit because it has firmed up, but it doesn't really need to be fully conditioned like before. But if it sits for a year, or 6 months to a year, then you might want to test it and see how it works. If you're concerned about it and it's not a big deal, then go ahead and start over. But I've had things sit for up to a month and then baked it, and they've been fine. So I wouldn't be concerned as long as it's not a long-term thing. Things that have been sitting here for a couple of years that I haven't done anything with, the clay's firmed up, and if I have to do anything extra, it's not going to work, so I need to recondition that, but they're not ready to bake. But anyway, hope that helps with that question. Someone, and I don't remember what the question was. It's one of the questions that's on here, but I referred them to Ginger Almond's Blue Bottle Tree. And if you have not gone to, I think it's the bluebottletree.com, I believe. Ginger has done extensive testing, and she's just amazing. But she can answer so many questions on polymer clay. So I would recommend you checking her out. She does have items for sale, but she has lots and lots of free information. And she just did a in-depth critique, or she did all the different types of pasta machines. She tried the clay machine, the Amico clay machine, or the Sculpey clay machine, something like that. She did the Atlas. She did the Lucy clay machine. She did, I don't remember if she did the Dream machine or not, but she did each one, used them for a while, and then gave all the pros and cons for each one. And she's got so many things, but she's got, it could have been releasing clay from the glass, or it could be using polymer clay for food. But one of these questions, I referred whoever asked the question to Ginger's website, and check it out, because I'll put that link below also, because it is just a fantastic, let me circle it so I'll remember to do that. It's a fantastic website. It's just full of information. Okay, somebody made a comment about my card videos, my Bloom Box videos, saying that it was a great deal, and it is. I'm going to throw a couple of these questions do pertain to my Fun Stampers Journey business, but I'm throwing them in here because it was clay people that asked me these questions, and some clay people are also card makers, and I'm finding more and more of those. We're talking about the Bloom Box, and if you watched my videos, I did a separate video on each card that came in my November Bloom Box. And if you wonder what a Bloom Box is, it's a monthly subscription, and what you would get, it mails on the 1st of every month, and it's a 6-month commitment. So once you start getting it, you're committing for 6 months, but after that you can drop it or you can keep going. But you get a box that has all of your paper and embellishments. Everything is cut out. Some things are, they've got their die cuts and, just different things. And then embellishments, paper clips, glitter, ribbons, tape. I'm trying to think of some of the things that were in the November one. But, and enough to do 4 different cards. And then the 4 cards, all the items for each card are individually packaged in a Ziploc bag. So you get 4 Ziploc bags that have, in each one is for a card. And then you get a booklet that Richard, and these are all designed by Richard Garay, who is our founder, our co-founder, and our president. And he is fantastic. And he writes a detailed instruction book, and you have detailed instructions for every card. And in November, and I may do the same thing for December. I haven't gotten mine yet. I had some issues. I got a new debit card from the bank. My bank was probably one of the last to switch to a chip card. And everything that I have my old card for, like the Bloom Box subscription, now the credit card is being denied because now I have this card with a chip. So I had to go in and fix that, and so they've assured me it will ship very quickly, and I'll get it soon. So I can't wait to get that. But I'm digressing. But anyway, I'll probably do the step-by-step in December. Just because it helps me to learn, and hopefully it would help you to learn, and to let you see just how easy these cards are. I mean, they're so easy to do, especially, Richard tells you exactly what to do and when to do it. And but you also get an exclusive stamp set, and the November stamp set was called A La Mode, and it was all about apples and ice cream, and there were apple slice. Let's see, the stamps had an apple slice, a full apple pie, and a slice of apple pie, and a scoop of vanilla ice cream, and then the sentiments that went with it. And it was so cute. And I have to admit, it probably would not have been a stamp that I would have gone out and bought. If I'd seen it, I would have thought, well, that's cute, and gone on to the next stamp. But after using it, I really like it. So, and apple pie is my favorite kind of pie, especially with vanilla ice cream. So anyway, so that was really good. The December one is awesome. I can't wait to get it because it's got welcome wreaths on it. And it's 2 different wreaths, and then all the different things that go on the wreath. It's so cute. I think I've posted a picture of it on my blog, and don't think I put one in a video yet. But I was going to wait till the Bloom Box got here, but that's being delayed. But anyway, yes, the Bloom Box, it's $24.95 a month. And you get the stamp set and all of the paper and embellishments that you need to make 4 cards. The only thing that you have to provide is the ink or any color medium that you might be using to color things, and adhesives, tapes and glues and whatever, And if you already work with paper, you've already got these things. So I'm really excited to be a part of this company. I'm getting going. Getting going is slow because I'm not doing classes. I don't want to go out and do card classes. I just don't want to do that. So I'm counting on getting customers and new coaches from my YouTube channel. And I've started a blog. The hardest part of the blog is trying to remember to put something on the blog. It's just a new habit I have to create. And then along with that, it said the next question was, what made you want to take up making cards? And again, it goes from watching YouTube videos. So many people that I would look for polymer clay also did paper art, and some of them had made cards, and I thought, well, that looks neat. And I know card making has been around forever and ever, but I've been so engrossed in polymer clay, I just wore blinders, and all I saw was polymer clay. And I just feel like it's time for me to venture out, and it's taking a little bit of time away from my polymer clay, which is kind of sad, but at the same time, I'm really enjoying the card making. I've made my Christmas cards. I sent a few Thanksgiving cards just to family and friends. And I've never been a card sender. It's really difficult for me to buy a card and put it in the mail. If I can buy a card and put it on a gift and give it to someone, but mailing cards has not been my strong point. So I'm hoping because of this, I'm actually wanting to send these cards because I'm really excited about them. So anyway, that's what got me to making cards. Someone asked what was expected as a journey coach. They wanted to know whether you had to mentor somebody. And no, you don't. One good thing I like about the way this company is structured is it's not like most direct sales companies where sell, and recruit. It's not like that. Of course, if you want to do that, that's great. That's no problem. But they also have a place for someone that just wants to get the 20% discount as a coach. You can get into this company for less than $50 and get two stamp sets and 2 die sets and 2 or 3, I think it's 2 rubber stamp sets, stamp ink pads, that's what I'm trying to say, and some other things. You get more than what you pay, but you can do that, and then as long as you maintain or you buy, because you can be your own customer, and you can have your own party. I've done that so many times. If I'm ordering something, and it's because $150 constitutes a party. So if I'm ordering $150, I enter it as a party that I'm paying for, and I'm the hostess and I'm the only guest. And I not only get my Bloom benefits for every $50 that's spent, but I also get the hostess rewards. So I get extra benefits for that. They have no problem with that. They love it. And the only requirement to stay an active coach is to either buy yourself or to have sales of $150 within the quarter. And I've ordered a lot more than that, thanks to my friend that helped me with my Destash. But I've ordered a lot of stuff, and I love everything I've gotten so far. I'm going to be doing more videos because I really like this stuff. So if you're into card making, check out my future videos because I'm so excited about this company and the quality of their products. Memory card issues. If you watched my Hamza, my 2-part Hamza video, or was it I did 2 Hamza videos, so I'm not sure which one was which, but I was recording, and I had recorded for like 20-25 minutes, and all of a sudden I heard my camera beep, and I looked up and it said cannot record. So my first thought was I have not erased, I forgot to erase what was on my memory card, and my memory card is full. So I took it out of my camera, I went into the computer and went to upload it, and that was that was the only thing on there. There were a couple of other really weird files. They were data files, and I don't know where they came from, but I couldn't erase them. So I thought, well, I've got the 20 minutes that I videoed. Let me go ahead and format the disk, and then the memory card, and then I can go back and finish. Well, I was able to format it that time, and I came back and started videoing again, and it did the same thing, but this time it only lasted about 3 or 4 minutes. And so that time I said, what is going on? I don't understand what's happening with this memory card. So I went back again to try to format the card again, and it wouldn't let me do anything. It wouldn't let me format it. It wouldn't let me delete anything. It wouldn't let me download the 3 minutes that was recorded. It was just a useless memory card. And I did well, I guess I am. I said I'm not a computer geek, but I guess I am. I've worked with computers in my professional life, and I've always been the problem solver. I know where to go and places to look to get advice on how to fix things. And everything that I looked for on this, everybody said, well, you just need to reformat your disk. Well, I mean, your card. And I said, well, I would if it would let me, but it wouldn't let me. So I figured it was just a corrupt memory card. So thank you for all of your tips and tricks, but I already tried all of them before I ended up just getting rid of it and got a new one, because it was crazy. But anyway, so there's about 5 minutes or so missing in between the beginning and the end of that video. And I put a note on there and I think it was the Tupelo Designs video that I did, and so I ended up splitting it into 2 parts with the middle part missing, but it wasn't that much. But anyway, that's what was going on there. Kemper cutters, and I do have some of those still here on my desk. I haven't cleaned up since my last video, but I brought out the stars when I was using my doing my bowl. Let me find out where it is. See, these are stars, and they're in different sizes. And these are Kemper cutters. And they come in all different sizes, all different shapes. They even got the teeny tiny ones, which this is the little circle one. I keep this out because I use this a lot. But let me see if get it in front of the camera. See how little that is? And there's a little spring inside. See how a little thing that you push, and you push out the clay if it sticks inside your cutter. And those are called Kemper cutters. And I've gotten mine through the years at many different places, but lately I've been getting them at polyclayplay.com. She has got the best selection and the best sizes. She's got so many different shapes and so many different sizes. You can either order them individually, or you can order sets. You can order a shape, one particular shape in all the different sizes, or you can get like the 1/4 inch in all the different shapes. There's different ways you can order them, but Tina does a good job on polyclayplay.com of carrying things like that. So if you want to go there and look, if you're interested in any of these Kemper cutters, that's where I've been getting mine lately. Someone also wanted to know where I got my Hamza cutters. And I did a search, and at the time, I've had them for like 6 or 8 months. I did a search and found someone on Etsy that was selling them, and they were in Israel. And it took a long time to get them from Israel. I mean, weeks before it got here, but I was real happy with it. But I tried finding her again, and her Etsy shop doesn't have these cutters anymore. So either she sold all that she had, or she just doesn't sell those anymore. So I would, if you're looking for the Hamza cutters, I would just go do a Google search and just search for Hamza cutters and see what comes up. I'm sure there's some that you could find on Amazon. There may be some other people in Etsy that sell them. Wherever you feel comfortable buying, just do a search for Hamza cutters, and you should be able to find them. Someone was really was interested in my copper Kato color, because the color that they were using evidently was a Primo color, and it was much lighter. And the Kato copper is a much richer copper color than anything you'll get with any other clay type. It is really, really, it really looks like copper. You know, it's really nice. And so when I was explaining to her, she said, that doesn't look like my copper. My copper almost looks like your gold. And it was funny because the gold was antique gold, so I thought, oh, I know, she's using Primo. And sure enough, this person was using Primo. And the Primo copper is not as rich and dark as the Kato. So there are certain things that I will only use Kato for, and I've still got lots of clay. And I've even thought about destashing some of my Kato clay, but I don't know how many of you would be willing to work with it, because it's older. It's been sitting here for a while, and it's going to take some TLC to get it conditioned because it's been sitting for so long. But I don't have a problem. I just warm it up ahead of time. I've been seeing Kim Cavender's comments on Facebook. She's got some old formula, well, first generation she calls it, which I've got some of that too, of Kato, which means it's at least 12 years old. And she said what she does is she puts it in the microwave for 10 seconds, or she slices it up into like 1/4-inch slices, puts it in the microwave for 10 seconds and tries to squeeze it. And then she puts it in for 10 more seconds and squeezes it until she can get it warm enough to condition. Well, what I do is I also will slice it into smaller pieces, and I wrap it in a piece of plastic, or my plastic sheets, which is another one of my questions. I'll show you those, but you know, these are my plastic sheets that I use for just everything. But I'll wrap it up in one of these and then stick it down in my bra. And while I'm doing something else, maybe washing dishes or whatever, and that way it gets warm all the way through. I do the same thing with old canes. When I started with polymer clay, I exclusively used Kato clay because I had a relationship with Donna Kato, and she was just coming out with her clay, and it was a professional grade clay. I know since then the other clays have improved. I have to admit that they have improved, but everything I made was exclusively Kato clay. So I had some canes that I had made. Well, if I started in 2000, it was probably 2001, if not 2000, when I made some of these canes, because I started going to workshops right away. I was very fortunate to be in Florida because we didn't have any trouble getting the artist to come to Florida to do a workshop for us. And I would, and just recently I took some canes and did the same thing, wrapped them in the plastic wrap, stuck them down in my bra, and did whatever, and then came back later. And all that does is it warms it up to the same temperature on the inside as it is on the outside. You can't just warm up the outside of a cane and expect it to reduce or work well, because if the inside is still cold and the outside is warm, your outside clay is going to move, but the inside clay is going to stay put, and you're just going to end up with a wonky cane. So anyway, that all went to the bronze. I was talking about bronze clay. See how easily I get sidetracked? But the bronze clay was something that the girl that asked about the copper clay asked if I could come up with a bronze clay recipe. And I do know there is one, and I probably got it printed off somewhere. I have a color file. I meant to look in that before I started the video, but I will find that recipe for Kato bronze and post that. Probably, if I can find it by the time this video is ready to post, I will put it in the comments. So we'll see what happens there. Someone else asked me about the kidney blades that I use, and that's these little blades that stay on my desk like this. And they're very thin, they're very flexible, But they'll cut, if you're, just wanting to cut a little piece of clay off, they'll scrape, you can scrape off of your, I keep forgetting you're only seeing my head, but you can use this to scrape your clay up off the surface. They're really just handy little tools to have. And I believe I bought mine from Polymer Clay Express, and I don't know if they still have them or not. They may. They're fairly cheap. They're like $3, $4, something like that. But I think I did it as an add-on to one of my orders that I did with Polymer Clay Express several years ago. I've had them forever, and I've got two, so evidently I ordered one forgetting that I had one, so now I've got two. But they're called, if you look them up online, they're called ceramic rib tools. Or you can just say a kidney blade. And either one of those ought to give you some kind of place where you can find those. The plastic sheets. I already showed you the plastic sheets. I do have a website where we have found these sheets. They're not the same brand as what I use. Mine were made by PaperCon, but I don't think PaperCon makes these anymore. What they're making now are more like little parchment sheets. Please, please, please do not store your clay on parchment or wax paper, anything but plastic, because if you store it on, if you roll out a sheet and put it on wax paper, even wax paper is going to leach the plasticizer out of your clay. And then you're going to end up with a brittle piece of clay that falls apart when you try to do something with it, because all the plasticizers have leached out into the paper. So same thing with parchment paper. It's good to use as a, if you're working with something and you're not going to leave it there. But even an index card, if you're putting something in the oven and you're going to bake it on an index card, don't store it for the 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever on the index card. Because if you go back and look at it, you're going to see an oily ring around your item, and that means the plasticizer has been leached out. So I can't guarantee any results if it doesn't have the plasticizer in it. So anyway, I will put the website. It's www.webstaurantstore, WEBSTAURANTSTORE.com, and I will put that in the comments, in the description. The pinch box. Can you use this? Pinch pot, that's what it is. Can you use this for a plant? And I may have already answered that question. But yes, you can. You can use it for a plant. Just make sure there's a hole in the bottom so that your roots don't rot from having water sitting in the bottom of it. But as long as there's drainage, they would work fine for a flower pot. I think they would be really nice to make your own flower pots. I've told you how to soften and condition hard clay. The baking temperature for clay, and I can't emphasize this enough. And if you're the person that said this, please don't take this personally, but someone was asking me, they were doing one of my tutorials and said that they baked it at 250 degrees for 1.5 hours and it was still soft. Well, yes, if you bake it at 250, even if you bake it all day long, it's not going to completely cure your clay. Your clay is not cured until it reaches the temperature that your clay manufacturer recommends. For Primo, it is 275. As long as it doesn't go over your temperature, you're fine, but you can't cure your clay completely if you don't go up to the temperature that they recommend. So what you end up with, it might be a little hard, but it might be brittle, it might break apart, it might it might look okay when you take it out of the oven, but it's not going to cure properly. And also remember that a good polymer clay, a good quality polymer clay, is going to be flexible after it's baked. Kato is flexible, Primo is flexible. If you want a really stiff clay, I would recommend doing it thicker, several layers thick. and that will make it a little less flexible. But if it's not flexible, that means it will break sometimes when you know, if you drop it on the floor. That's why Sculpey 3 is not a good clay for anything that's fragile. Certain jewelry pieces, or you know, things that have small areas on it, if you know, it's brittle, and if you drop it on the floor, it's going to break. That's just the way it is. So that's why I usually recommend either Kato or Primo clay for just about everything, because it's more of a professional grade clay instead of a child's clay. And it'd be like us using Play-Doh to make something. You know, it's good for its purpose, but it's not a professional grade clay to use. So, you know, just be careful with your clays, and always bake it at look at your instructions, look at your package. And I know for Primo it's 275. I believe Fimo is a lower temperature, but I don't use Fimo, so I'm not sure exactly what that is. But like I say, if you bake it at a lower temperature, even though you try a longer time, it's still not going to cure your clay. The amount of time doesn't really make that much difference. As I always bake everything for an hour. And if it's thicker clay, like my bowl, I think I did my bowl an hour. Now that I think about it, I just did that for an hour. But some of the things that I've made that were, say, 1/4 of an inch thick, I have baked longer, just because I want to make sure that it gets totally cured. And but you know, people are afraid they're going to burn their clay, and I don't know if it's because they hear about the toxic fumes or whatever. You know, you don't want to burn your clay. That can be pretty smelly, and I don't know that I want to breathe that either. But always go at least to the temperature that they recommend. Now, Kato clay, you can bake Kato up to 300 degrees. And matter of fact, a lot of their clays recommend, you know, they recommend baking it at 300 degrees. So I don't have a problem with baking Kato at a higher temperature, but I usually keep everything at about 275. And that usually cures everything that I use. But just be sure and look at whatever clay you're using, look at their recommended temperature, because baking it at a lower temperature for a longer period is not going to cure your clay. So I hope I've explained that. Someone asked me, the die cutting machine on the Fun Stamper's Journey, the newest machine is the small one. It's called the Amaze. And somebody says, well, can you cut polymer clay on the Amaze? Well, you know you can. I took 3 different thicknesses of clay, rolled it into a sheet, and then I baked it. And then I took each sheet and I put a die on it and put it through the Amaze machine, and one of them worked really well. I think it was the number 5 setting, worked very, very well. The die cut the clay just like it would cut paper. But I'm using those thinlet dies, the little thin metal dies. I have some steel rule dies that also will go through the Amaze. And the steel rule dies have cut even the thicker clays, because it's a longer blade. The blade is like buried up inside of a foam type material, and then as it's pressed down in the machine, it pushes a blade out and it cuts. And that has cut, I think the thickest that I had was a number 3, and that did do a number 3. And when I say number 3, my thickest setting is a 0, so 3 was like the 3rd thickest setting. But it cut that. I don't go any thinner than that. I mean, any thicker than that, because I don't really have a need to cut thick clay. If I'm putting it on a card, you know, I want it to be thin. So anyway, yes, it will be cut on the Amaze machine. And I told you about my turtles. Okay, I had some suggestions on some tutorials to do. One person is interested in me showing how to attach a pin back onto polymer clay. So I'm going to do a video on that. Someone asked about making a clay box. I will probably make a video on that. And someone wanted a flower cane with petals that have multiple colors. And I will probably do that, but again, it will probably be after the holidays when I have time to, it takes time to think about a design and how you're going to do it. And then sometimes I feel like I need to make one myself to see if it's going to work before I do a video. And believe me, there are times that something doesn't work and I have to start all over. So I just don't have that kind of time right now, but I'm hoping after Christmas is over and, that'll be good. Oh, and I wanted to give you an update on my daughter-in-law. I'm so proud of her. She's an awesome woman. She's the one that I made the Proverbs 31 box for, the lady in the box that I made my ceramic tiles for. She's been battling breast cancer, and she went through she had a double mastectomy, and then she went through some very, very strong chemo. And she's finished with her chemo. She has gone through her radiation. She's finished her radiation. And she's gone back. She's a pharmacist. She's gone back to work full time. Her hair is growing back. She's a little concerned that her eyelashes aren't quite as long as they used to be, and hopefully they'll continue to grow. But her eyebrows are back. Her hair she's a little beyond fuzzy now, so she's looking better. But she is a trooper and such a faithful woman. She has praised God through this entire process and given him the credit for the strength that she's felt. I'm going to cry. I'm going to tear up because I just love her so much. But we are going to their house for Christmas Eve. It's 2.5 hours away from here, and usually they travel into Richmond. And the whole family gets together on Christmas Eve, my sister's family and my family, and we exchange gifts then, and that way Christmas Day is for your direct family. And they've always made the trip from Danville to Richmond to attend the Christmas Eve. And he asked if we would be interested in coming to their house this year. And everybody thinks it's a fantastic idea. So we're going to their house for Christmas Eve. And I'm so excited about it because, I try not to be the meddlesome mother-in-law. I let her know I'm here and that I'm praying for her. And, so many of my friends have been praying for her. But I don't bombard her with how are you today and what's going on, how are you feeling, because when she's feeling bad, especially during her chemo, the last thing she needed was her mother-in-law bugging her, wanting to know how you feeling. But she lets me know, and she's just an awesome woman. So I'm just excited about that. Christmas is going to be good this year. Our shopping lists are shorter because we've just decided as a family not to give so much. We give mainly to the children, and then this year I am giving, excuse me, Pink, one of my dogs is in here and she just coughed. We've just trimmed our list down. We're giving to children. This year I am giving to my children. I haven't the last few years, and this year I just feel the need to give to my kids, even though they're adults, and they don't expect much from me, so I'm not under the pressure to find just the perfect gift, but just something to let them know that I care. So I hope this answered all of your questions. If you have any other questions, feel free to put them in the comments below, and I will try to do better to make a list and answer your questions on another video. But I've enjoyed the chit chat. I don't know if I'll get another video done today, but hopefully this one will answer your questions and help you with a little bit of information and give you some tips and techniques. And I think that is all I had for today. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.